Hey, I just wanted to start with this little update and actually run a train on my layout for once. I'll let it run by here, and then there's a couple things I want to talk about since my last update. That's my Italian train. Again, just stuff I bought off eBay a few years ago. It's just a mash of different road lines and things like that. But I really enjoy it. For being a children's locomotive, it really runs like a tank. I mean, it really can do a lot. Starts, stops, directional lighting. I probably only got it for 40 bucks, pre 2020 prices. If you've been on eBay lately, you'll know what I mean. Anyways, let's get back to the station. Once again, I really added a lot of detail, added some people just temporarily. Um, got this nice mesh. I think it looks really good. Um, Lamps, and then I have my crane model set up here. And then this is off an old steam train. I would think a modern railway would have something back to the past, like 6-foot drivers. So we also I just put them there just as sort of display. Um, the biggest thing I've done recently, besides clean the tracks, which we'll get to after this, is I added the signal, which they're on the left, and this little wooden walkway, which was not really easy to build. I had to cut each section and glue it and cut it and glue it and glue it. And what I do is I usually just paint them black with a Sharpie marker or paint, and then I use some um, varnish over it. So that way, if I'm cleaning the tracks, which we'll get to now, you won't take the paint off. I mean, or it'd be very, very hard to, I guess, is what I'm saying. So, if you're going through with a wash or a cloth with any kind of mineral spirit or anything like that. So let's get to that on the cleaning of the tracks. I'm glad I could run a train finally. The last few layout updates I've done, I haven't run any trains because the tracks, I was still ballasting. I had some movement back there where the train is currently parked. So I had to lift up the tracks and stick them down and reballast them, but they're good now. But what I do is I just take uh, a Bright Boy eraser and just lightly go over the top to get any kind of residue glue off, just manually. And then I go back through with a stainless steel washer and I rub the track and kind of burnish them so they're smooth and there's no scratches on them. After that, I take a rag and a Q-tip or earbud and I wipe the track down with a mineral spirit. Just make sure your windows are open because I was doing it last night and I swear some of these people started moving around. But you do that, clean your track, make sure you get either nothing on the rag or like maybe even light gray. And then I put the No-Ox, it's a conductive jelly or grease. I put that around the track and let the trains run through it, and it'll eventually get on the wheels and things, and it stops the arcing, and the arcing creates the spot for the carbon on the tracks, and that's how your tracks get dirty. So hopefully with that it helps. It helps cut that down. I don't have to clean the track as much. I'm very lucky that I only have a 4x6 layout, and it's oval, so it's pretty straightforward to clean. Although people who have huge layouts, I don't know how you keep the track clean and keep it maintained, because this is a 4x6, as I said, and this is a lot of work for me. I wouldn't want any more, I guess. So another thing with the track and flexing and weather, I do live in the north, so we do have basements. So where I live, it is hot in the summer, cold in the winter, hot in the summer, cold in the winter, and this track will move all over the place. And how do I know? Because one, I have this little gap right here, and this is on purpose. I actually put this in here. These joiner plates are soldered to one side and not to the other, so the track can actually, the metal can actually move if it needs to, expand and contract. And to make up for that movement, or anything comes loose, or there's, something falls under there, I have this wire right here on each side that jumps. So that keeps the conductivity going in this joint, even though it's open. Now it looks pretty wide, and you'd say, well, will that derail a train? And for the most part, no. I mean, if you look at a turnout, a switch, or a point, they have big gaps in them too, and the trains do just fine. I could always fill it with a card stock or something if I wanted to, but it gives a good clickety-clack sound. So that makes my layout into two sections. All my other rails are soldered together, and then I have the same setup here on the other side. So, like I said, the two sides can expand and contract on their own. Like I said, I had a little bit of this rail getting a little wobbly. It popped off the ballast, but like I said, I was able to tack it back down and reglue it, and works fine, or as good as it's going to be. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff I would have done different with track laying in this layout. One would probably have been to just bury that Bachmann Easy track with the base already on it, and that way I would know how it stands. But like I said, I really don't have too many issues with track at all with this, especially not having any turnouts or any planned elevations. I will say there is some unplanned elevation in this layout, because in the north, your basement, they typically slope them to the center for drainage in case you have a flood, typically, at least in modern houses. And so I do have issues when I move this table is on wheels out or back. The baseboard kind of flexes and turns on me. So there is a little bit of a hill here where the train is currently, that it sometimes has to go up. And I'm trying to get some levels and shim some stuff up and make it okay. Again, it's not going any higher and trying to go over and under another train or anything like that. So I just have to keep it somewhat flat. So, but again, not too much of an issue. And if the train has traction tires, there's zero issue. So, but like I said, I'm really enjoying this. Trying to do just a little bit every day. Haven't done much today. Just cleaned the tracks last night and made this video today. So, like I said, I want to get trees in here and the street lamps. I have them. I am just waiting because I want to go to the cemetery and get that done and make sure everything's where it is, because I don't want to constantly be pulling out the trees and knocking them over with my hands. Same thing with the street lights. I have them, a huge bag of them, and they're really, really great when they're done, but like I said, I just don't want to be working around them until I have a lot of stuff planned out or set out the way I want it. So hopefully I'll make them somewhat removable, so if I need to get them out of my way, I can just pull them out by maybe drilling a hole in the sidewalk and putting the stalk down there instead of gluing them down. I guess the last thing, it's a little hard to see because my lighting is awful down here. I want to talk about is back here. No one can actually see it. The lighting's really bad. But I think back here I'm going to put allotment plots for gardens. And I have just some corrugated cardboard missing the top, so it's the ridges. When I get to that part, I'll show you, but just to fill that in back there, kind of the mystery spot that no one sees. So, but yeah, not much work on the fairground. Still just trying to lay things out. And, but I'm just happy to run some trains, and I think that's how I will end this video. I'm so glad it just started up. I'd be really sad if it didn't. Oh, he just seemed to have a uncoupling, but hey, that's a fun way to end it. Thanks.